Hey everyone, and welcome to Television from the Multiverse, the DC Comics TV podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and that is Connor over there in the red corner. We talk about this week's DC TV shows, which include Supergirl, The Flash, the season finale of Arrow, Krypton, and we're also working with the Young Justice. We're almost done with season 1, so we've got an episode of that as well that we're going to talk about. So that's what's coming up. We actually do have some news this week. There's a lot of DC
Quite a bit, yeah.
TV news this week. Now, I guess we'll start. No, we won't start with the new shows. We'll save the new shows. We'll start with the stuff that concerns the shows we already cover, that we already talk about every week. So, first of all, schedule change. They're shifting things around on the schedule, and now that CW have a Sunday night slot, Supergirl is now going to be on Sunday nights. You're going to have Legends and then Arrow on a Monday night. And then you're going to have Flash and Black Lightning on a Tuesday night. So that's the new schedule. It does mean that when we hit fall and the shows come back this year, when we put this show up will change, because we are not going to leave it till Sunday when one of the shows is airing on Sunday. It'll be sometime in the Wednesday, Friday range.
And we are going to hope there's not a DC Universe show on at the same time. Because they have got 5 shows on at once, the CW, consistently.
Yeah, at least for the first half of the year, the first half of the season.
Which is different. We've had a couple of weeks here or there of overlap, but
it does make me hope that we're done with Young Justice season 2 by then, just so that that's out of the way and we could just have the 5 shows.
Yeah.
We
might be getting season 3 by that point, though.
That is very true. We might be getting season 3 by that point, but we'll just have to see how that shapes up. It may be a bit of a puzzle, but we'll figure something out. But yeah, so the night of when this goes up will change when the new schedule kicks in. We'll keep it the same for the summer probably. I don't see any reason for us to move it before then, but this won't be recorded on Sundays anymore once the shows are back on. It'll be sometime Wednesday to Friday. We don't know which day yet. It kind of depends. It might shift around a little bit and be less consistent as to which day it is, depending on which other shows are on that we cover. Just in general.
At the moment, there's no other TV on a Saturday night, so Sunday is the dedicated slot for this.
Yeah, whereas come fall, it's going to be whatever day out of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is the most convenient to do it.
Pretty much, yeah.
So,
which will probably stay the same for 2 months at a time.
Yes, but then might shift.
And then might shift around.
Because, I don't know, maybe we do it on Thursdays, but then we get 2 shows on a Wednesday night, so then Thursday's off limits, so then it becomes Wednesday, or it becomes Friday. Who knows? Yeah. But that is that part of the news. The other part of the news for the CW shows is that they haven't revealed the name of the crossover this year. They haven't revealed what the storyline for the crossover is yet, but they have revealed that it will introduce Batwoman into the Beebleverse. Yes, it's the Beebleverse now, folks. Deal with it.
It is. I'm waiting for all the other news sites to catch on.
Yes. So, as exciting. It's the first character from the Bat side of the universe in any capacity. Obviously, we've had references that a Batman does exist.
Yeah, the closest we've had in terms of characters is Harley Quinn referenced briefly on Arrow.
We heard her briefly on Arrow. We heard her from behind a wall. That's so weird to think about in retrospect now that there's never been any follow up to that, and it's not their fault, but it's funny to think about.
As much as we like giving Arrow shit, there are some things that are just not their fault in terms of the character use.
Yeah. But it's funny though, because I feel like even letting them use Batwoman is okay, we're going to be talking about Batman more just by the nature of having her around.
Yeah, and it begs the question of when we got Supergirl's show, we were like, so, I mean, Superman's around, right? And they were really awkward about it at first, with just the referencing. But then, of course, we got to a point where we saw him.
They avoided ever saying the name Superman for a long time. It was always my cousin, and then the occasional Kal-El. And then eventually it was okay, let's just call him Clark and Superman. And then he was on the show. They actually just put him in it. And so clearly they've loosened up in a lot of ways across the board. Not entirely, we know there's still some rules here or there, but it does feel like, no, we can handle there being references to a Superman and a Batman, it's fine. We can reference the mascara, it's fine.
Yeah, I think they get away with the bigger ones a bit more. I think the Flash helped in the sense that there was already a TV show on by the time they started doing the movie, so they couldn't really go, "Hey, you can't use the
I know
Flash."
that'd be so stupid if they did.
So they kind of, I think they helped themselves out a little there by easing people into it. It's the smaller ones, like Arrow's not allowed to use the Suicide Squad stuff anymore, where I think
Yeah.
that's the ones they're more concerned about now.
And to be fair, Arrow's version of the Suicide Squad was never that great, so I'm not even that upset about that.
I'm not either. Honestly, I think the biggest upset is that they're being repeated, slayed, right? Because they
Yeah,
were like, it's like, oh, you can have him, and then it's like, you can have him back, and it's like, oh, hang on, we just did a tease with him in Justice League. A bold plan, get rid of Slade.
Shadow. Yes. But hey, so it's exciting for that reason, and obviously, I think it's impossible not to speculate that this could be like a little bit of a backdoor pilot, so that maybe, and obviously nothing's planned yet in terms of like announcing stuff, but it wouldn't surprise me if in a year's time we're not talking about a season 1 of a Batwoman show being announced.
I will be surprised if we're not, honestly.
Yeah, it would make sense to me. And I don't know if they're actually actively, because obviously like Supernatural's on like season 14 at this point, so I don't necessarily know if they're planning on ending Arrow anytime soon. But we were talking about on the TV news how it would actually make sense to replace Arrow with a Bat person show of some kind, given that they're both non-powered vigilantes in a city. Like it would make the perfect sense to replace Arrow with a Batwoman show or something similar to it.
It would, and Arrow's ratings have been on the decline in general anyway, so they might see this as okay, we can just replace that slot, one in, one out, one in.
Or they may just want a
get a
sixth
bump.
show. I mean, the only reason why we're even saying that is because we don't think they would want 6 on at a time. But hell, now that they've got an extra night, maybe they'd say, yeah, screw it. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 2 DC shows a night. Sunday's ladies' night, and then so on.
Yeah.
Like,
Which,
they could. I mean, why not?
Yeah, on that of calling it Ladies' Night, I feel it's likely that this Batwoman will be on Supergirl's Earth, because we actually know Batman exists on that Earth.
I would rather it was. I'm not necessarily convinced they will for just for story reasons, because they want the lives to be easier, so they'd rather have it on the Arrowverse, and they'd rather have it be on the flagship universe, if you will, of the TV shows. I would rather it be on the Supergirl's Earth, and I think it would work there. But
I think it's easier from a marketing perspective in that way, but from a writing perspective of, hey, explaining why we've not really covered any sort of Batman on this Earth.
It's worth pointing out here, Arrow has name dropped both Gotham and Bruce Wayne.
There has, but there's been no implication of a Batman at any point.
No, that's true. But people are going to correct us in the comments, so I'm doing it now before they give us shit, because you are ignoring those details. So.
Well, no. I'm saying they have not mentioned a Batman. Bruce Wayne exists.
No, I get you. But I'm saying comments can be finicky, where they think you're ignoring things, and I can tell sometimes when you speak what they are going to assume that you don't know, or what you don't understand. So I'm putting it out there, making it clear. Arrow has referenced Bruce Wayne in Gotham, which is actually another thing. It did say as well, we're going to see Gotham in some capacity. I mean, I'm assuming it'll be like the first scene with Batwoman before she comes to whatever.
Probably. Yeah.
Whether it's Star City, National City, Central City. Like,
do you know what it tells me though, that they're showing us Gotham?
Yeah.
Is they're going, okay, if this is going to be a show, we need a location, so let's just do it now.
We need a location, and I think the excitement for me as well is that when we do a crossover, I mean, possibly this show's crossover since we're having Batwoman in the first place, but in future crossovers, we can have Bat villains in those things. We can have Bat villains be a part of those crossovers.
In theory, yeah.
We can have Killer Frost versus Mr. Freeze potentially on like a future crossover.
You're speaking to my heart there.
Your heart of ice. Quite right. So there's a lot of potential, and I think having a Bat representative is a fun idea. It means that when these crossovers happen, it does feel almost like it's a funny Justice League, because it's Supergirl instead of Superman, and it's Batwoman instead of Batman, and it's we got a Flash, sure. We don't have a Wonder Woman, which is whatever. But the point being is that the core houses, really, if you add a Green Lantern, we've got someone representing most of the main kind of areas of DCU. Wonder Woman's the one that you can't. I mean, because it would be weird to do a Wonder Girl without a Wonder Woman.
It would. The closest we can get is Helen of Troy.
Helen of Troy, who's been to Themyscira and been trained by the Amazons. Yes, we have her.
Yeah. Why not?
But it's kind of funny though. It's funny to think that we've had no Bat representation at all in these
yeah,
shows.
it's one of those that I've never questioned because I've just gone, well, they're not allowed, right?
Well, it's just the thing. I think it was fine before Supergirl because it was like, okay, Batman and Superman and Wonder Woman are all off limits. But once we had a Supergirl show and we're referencing Superman and Lex Luthor and all that stuff, it's like, this is weird not to have a Batman and a Joker and and I don't even see them just in the same way that Superman and Lex are referenced a lot. And
They exist.
yes,
Yeah, that's true.
So now that we have that, and now that we've had Wynn referenced as a Batman, without saying the word, of course, just in the pointy ears, and Kara at one point says, "Oh, our cousin knows a vigilante that has a lot of gadgets and stuff."
Yeah, it's clear who they're talking about. It's the most direct it's ever been.
Yes, and again, you get the impression they're not allowed to say the name yet, but they're poking at it, they're prodding at it.
Yeah, they're pushing it, aren't they?
And to be fair, actually, there's one thing that just popped in my head. When Legends was starting, Rip did have a line in the trailer that said "Man of Steel and Dark Knights have fallen."
Yes.
So he in their universe has also, at least in some capacity, known about a Batman.
Them. Yeah.
Yes. So, I don't know. So I think it's a toss-up as to which universe she actually does end up in or what comes from. But I would agree that I'd want it to be the Supergirl one because I feel like that would balance it out a little bit as well. It means we'd have two in each. Well, actually, no, we'd have three in one and two in the other. But
I think it's the most likely for my money in terms of just as well as the all the stuff we've talked about, the smaller crossovers. Just the two show ones like we've had between Supergirl and Flash. It's easy to do them between Flash and Arrow. I mean, hell, there's small little crossover connective stuff in this week.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
So it would make sense to have one on the other Earth, so you can do it with those two shows, just on a more regular basis, just the little touches like that, without being a big deal.
No, I agree. I'm not willing to bet that that's how they're thinking about it.
No, that's
fair. It might be, but I'm just not willing to
Yeah.
put my foot down and say that's definitely what's happening. I think it could go either way, but hey, so yeah, that's big. Batwoman's coming. So it's exciting to see who the cast as are and what the suit looks like, all the usual fun stuff we get when we first. And I'm excited to see what Gotham looks like if they do something cool with it. Like if it's I could see it easily being the most stylized looking city out of them all.
I think it's the bit that's possibly going to let me down the most, because I think ultimately it's just going to look like a city. It's just going to look like another one. I'm going to go, all right, fine.
I'm hoping for a tad more atmosphere.
I'm hoping, but it's the area I expect to be disappointed. Like the Batwoman's outfit, I'm sure I'll be like, yeah, that looks good enough. I feel like Gotham, I'll go, yeah, it's not really Gotham. It's just a city. I don't know. I'm really pessimistic. Just on Gotham though. Everything else I'm pretty optimistic about.
Okay, all right.
But, yeah, that one thing.
Speaking of Batman-related characters, Epix announced that they've ordered a DC Comics series. So even though we're getting a DC Universe, streaming service with multiple shows, and there's a new show to talk about with that in a minute, we're also still getting more networks announcing DC shows. So this podcast is not going to be struggling for content, I don't think, for a while.
No, we're good for life.
So they've announced Pennyworth, an Alfred prequel series. Now, if you recall me ranting about Metropolis in terms of having too many prequel series and not just doing the actual damn character, apply a lot of that to this as well. I do think Alfred at least has more of a story to him than, say, when Sony was trying to do the Aunt May standalone movie. It
gets a little more leeway because it doesn't have to be just Easter egg referencing, oh, we're doing this just without a character, because it's so far before.
But then you say, okay, well, in that case, it's just a guy in the SAS. It's a soldier show. Does that really...
Basically what I'm expecting.
Does that appeal to people who like Batman and shit? I don't know. I'm not particularly thrilled. It is worth mentioning this comes from some people from Gotham. Two of the producers from Gotham are the ones doing this, which does not fill me with hope, because as previously... as well documented, we both opted out of that show pretty early on.
Yeah, I got a little bit further than you, but it was still awful. Every so often, I kind of see the news of what's going on in it, and I just laugh at the absurdity.
Which is why it's perfect for, how we're doing Smallville and Lois and Clark just now, whenever the stuff's not on.
Yeah.
It's perfect for that at some point.
Yeah, you're right.
It's ripe to go through it and see just how stupid it is.
Yeah, one day when we run out of content. Yeah.
Um,
Which, it just struck me when you said, "Oh, we're good for years, right?" In terms of content, it's been like a long time since there's been not since we've had a time without a DC show on the air. Because Smallville ran straight into Arrow, right?
I think there was a year between them, maybe.
Is there a year?
Yeah, because Smallville finished in 2010, I think, and then Arrow was 2012 when it started. So
Okay, they were pretty close.
So I think there might have been 2 seasons of TV, if you will, between them.
Right. Okay.
Because I think Smallville ended, May 2010, and then Arrow started like September, October.
Was it not 2011 for Smallville?
I don't think so, because Flash is 2014.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, because that started the same time as season 3 of Arrow. So yeah, 2012.
Okay. Fair enough.
So there was 2 seasons of TV off.
Right. Because it's been, that's a pretty small gap then. But before that,
But to be fair, it was just Smallville for.
No, it was,
10
but there was
years.
always there's always been something like for a long time.
Yeah, it was just Smallville. Unless did that one season of Birds of Prey overlap with the start of Smallville? It might have done. Nah, I think that was like 2000. I think that was like a year before.
Maybe, yeah. It's around the same time.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a big difference, but yeah, it was. I don't think it overlapped though. I think it was like a year before, maybe 2 years before. Yeah, there's been a lot of DC shows in history, and it's funny. I think we're going to get a point now where we've got more on the air at the same time than there has been before combined, which is kind of funny.
I think that might be true. Yeah, because we'll have at the very least 5 from the CW at once.
5 CW, presumably
probably one from the DC universe.
That might overlap with, say, Pennyworth, which, I mean, I don't see it overlapping with like, the next season of Krypton. Should we get a season 2 of Krypton? But
right, but we're looking in the 6 to 8 region.
Yes, which isn't enough yet. There's been more than that in existence.
Oh yeah, but that's still a stupid amount at once compared to the decade where we had one
terrible one. Yes.
Yeah.
Whereas now there's good ones, there's bad ones, there's ones in the middle, there's just lots of DC shows. But yeah, Pennyworth's a thing that's happening. So, I mean, obviously we'll try the first one, but I don't expect. I just, even if it was people who weren't from Gotham, I wouldn't be enthusiastic because I'm like, well, it's going to be a soldier show.
Right. That's why I'm not interested more than anything. I mean. Yeah. I don't know why I really want it anyway, because it's an Alfred show. As I pointed out, Teen Titans Go, the whole joke of that trailer at the start was, oh, there's an Alfred movie.
Yeah, and I like Alfred when he interacts with the other characters. And we're going to have the other characters. It's going to be young Alfred with maybe Thomas Wayne, but that's about it. And yeah. It's weird, because again, I'm like, can we not just have like a Batman show? Like a good Batman show instead of an Alfred show?
But at least this I can go, well, they're not really trying to be a Batman show, right?
Oh, sure.
Unlike Gotham, where it's like they're trying to be a Batman show.
Without Batman.
Right. Whereas this I can go, well, they're trying to be a soldier show and just get some brand recognition.
Okay. I mean, that's fair, but now we have Gotham and Pennyworth as like 2 different Batman prequels of some kind.
Yeah.
So it's again, we're avoiding ever doing Superman and Batman. We're just going to do prequels to those characters. And don't get me wrong, Krypton's pretty good, so sometimes it works out and it's fine, but still, it makes me roll my eyes a little bit that we just keep avoiding doing the actual thing.
Hey, give them time. We got DC Universe to fill up.
Because we're at a point now with TV effects and stuff that we can do most of the characters. Most of them can be done justice for the most part.
Yeah, I don't think there's any that can't really.
Yeah, so as long as you accept a level of cartooniness to it, like I think if we got a Green Lantern show, the constructs would be a little,
Yeah.
But it would work.
You'll get 1 or 2 constructs an episode, and that's it.
I don't know, because the constructs don't have to look real. They can kind of get away with that just looking because it by its nature it's phony.
No, that's true.
So what I'd laugh about that, I just imagine the set for a Green Lantern show. First of all, it would all be blue screen, not green screen.
Yeah, you got to do blue. That just crossed my mind. I was like, I did blue screen on that one.
And secondly, they'd have so many like green lamps and stuff and green gels for the lights because they'd constantly have like green glows on their faces and shit.
Yeah.
That's actually funny.
Sounds like fun.
It does sound like fun. So yeah, do a Batwoman show and then give me a Green Lantern show the following year, and that's the seventh show. Yeah. Why not? Just have 2 DC shows a night in CW. Why not?
Get rid of Arrow. That's fine. And then added a Green Lantern.
Yeah, but what's the bet? And they just call it Lantern.
I think they learned the lesson.
Well, is that going to be on the poster? We had the balls to put green in the title.
Oh,
Yeah. Anyway, so just imagine how like, all these superhero shows have like added to their roster each season with like new sidekicks and shit. Like you start with Hal Jordan in season 1, season 2 you add in John, season 3 you add in Kyle and Guy. Like you could and then by season 5 you've got Jessica and Simon. You have a whole core.
you do, and that's before we even talk about the alien members.
I know. I mean that's where
I think that's season 2, right? Season 1 is just Hal on his own on Earth.
maybe I don't know, like because I feel like you have to send them off for training quite early on.
Yeah, okay, maybe.
I can see it bouncing back between Earth and the training in season 1.
That's fair. I can see. I can see though. The training almost being some flashbacks that we get throughout as when the lessons are relevant. To
Yeah,
whatever
no,
we
I'd see that as well. But what I think you do episode 1 sets up the him getting the ring, going into the training, and then the rest of the episodes of season 1, you get flashbacks to the training, sort of intercut with the plots on Earth.
But it's mostly on Earth. Season 2, I think he goes out and deals in some space stuff, and then you bring in Jon Stewart to look after Earth, perhaps.
Maybe. Race itself.
It does, doesn't it?
The race itself. We could do this. And obviously you have Sinestro be his trainer, along with Kilowog, and then Sinestro turns evil at the end of season 2. That's your season 2 cliffhanger. Is he's turning evil, and he builds the Sinestro core in season 3.
Yeah. It's so easy.
And then it's season 4, 5 before you start bringing in the other colours, the other cores.
Yeah. You hold off on that.
Yeah. Oh my, it's so good. It's so easy.
It just structures itself, doesn't it? It's just. Oh.
Yeah. I once actually sat there and mapped out what my Batman show would be. Like when you do each villain, what season. Joker would be season 2, and then season 3 you'd have a subplot with the Joker in Arkham, like manipulating Harleen Quinzel, and that'd be like the origin of Harley over season 3. But
it's fine. You just do what Gotham did and just shove them all in and just hope something sticks.
No.
just don't have Batman to fight any of them.
And you don't do Dick until like season 4. You do like 3 years of Batman on his own before you even think about doing the Flying Graysons.
You think?
Yeah. You want all the first stuff with the Joker.
That's the thing. I think it depends. Is this a Batman origin, or is Batman already established?
Oh, it's origin. You start from start.
Okay.
You want to do year 1. You want to do Harvey Dent become Two-Face. You want to do all that shebang.
Okay, fair enough then.
Yeah. But hey, that's not Fancasting. There's another show to announce. There was another show from the DC Universe they announced this week, and this one's also fascinating. Because it's a really weird, property they're doing. So, because we were praising Swamp Thing like a week or two ago for being, that's a bit different. That's cool. It's not a superhero thing.
Just on that note, a week or two ago we got a show, and now it's here's another one.
But and the other reason this is interesting is that it's actually spinning out of another show they're already doing. We've not seen Titans yet, but Doom Patrol is going to be in Titans and then spin out into its own show, which is interesting for 2 reasons. 1, something's already like sort of been established and spun out of a show, and 2, that means at least 2 of these shows are in a shared universe, and I would then assume that Swamp Thing is probably going to be in that same universe, because it's live action, of course. They're all the live action shows, I assume, will be in a shared universe. We were speculating the other day that maybe the reason why Metropolis got pulled and delayed and it's been reworked is because if it's going to be a shared universe, it maybe has to change exactly what it's doing to line up with other things and so on. I don't know, but
exciting.
Yeah.
I'm not overly familiar with Doom Patrol.
No, they're a fairly weird concept to me. But
I love that we're getting a show though.
I think on our Multiverse Monthly that we do for Patreon, maybe a couple of Doom Patrol trades before the show starts would be a smart choice.
Maybe one of the classic ones, one of the new ones.
Yeah, makes some sense. So Doom Patrol. So that's another live action show. So that's 3 confirmed. Obviously, we're not counting Metropolis because that got pushed and it's been reworked. But we've got 3 confirmed live action shows and 2 confirmed animated shows so far.
Just 2.
Yeah, just Young Justice and Harley.
For some reason, I thought we had another one by now. I don't know what it is. For some reason, I thought I was blanking and we had a third one.
If there is, I mean, I have no idea what it is. But
no, that's fair enough. I think it's just me just assuming that we had another one by now.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning, like with so many shows, there might actually come a point where we have to like decide that, we kind of hate watch Arrow, but if there's like 6 other shows on and Arrow's like the 7th one, we probably don't do Arrow anymore at that point because we just don't have time.
It can move to the off season.
Yeah, we'll catch up in the summer with Arrow maybe at that point because
We'll probably keep up until crossover. Because crossover.
Assuming there's not 9 shows on at that time.
Assuming that, yeah. And then off season.
So it'll be a summer of drinking then if that happens. And again, this is just all hypothetical.
That's just summer.
Yeah. This is just all hypothetical if the shows stack up in a way where there's like 8 shows on at one time and we have to make that call. We have to make that tough call.
Which sounds unlikely, but we just had a really crazy schedule for the last couple of months where everything, not for DC TV, but just TV in general, stacked up at once. Yeah. Because of the way things felt. It happens.
And again, that was just pure coincidence that so many things happened to decide, all the seasons came back at the same time. Yeah. But here you go. So that's the news. So without further ado, let's get to the actual shows. So we will start, of course, with Supergirl, Season 3, Episode 18. It's called Shelter from the Storm. And as Connor tinkers with his mic, this episode, I thought was mostly pretty good. Maybe there's a couple of things to complain about. Not even so much that it's handled badly, just because of prejudice on our part at this point.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm referring to Simone L. things.
It's just groan-inducing, even though it's not doing anything that wrong.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like nothing it does in this episode is actually that bad on its own. It's just that because I already like don't like him that much, even though he's been better this season for sure. I'm like, no, don't leave him behind. Don't no. Just
you know it's coming all episode, and I'm like, oh no, just piss off. Back to the Future.
And as he points out, he's aware that's a movie title. He just likes saying it. Yeah, and then Brainy also likes saying it, even though. Does he know it's a movie title?
I don't know if he does. Brady just seems to get into it a bit.
He just likes the phrase, I guess. It's a whole thing. Speaking of fun Brainy stuff, I did enjoy... Because I was expecting the joke to be... He's with Win. I was expecting the joke to be... when I first got here, you were a level 1 intellect. And as you know, I'm level 12. He's like, yes, you've said, yes. You've mentioned it. And I was like, okay, the joke's going to be that he's a level 2. Like he's not like 8 or 6 or anything. He's just be level 2, and then Brainy hits it with you're actually a level 1.42 intellect.
Yeah, me up. And then hands him a jar of dirt.
Dirt from the future. I'm pretty sure dirt from the future's still just dirt.
Yeah, it's not even space dirt.
No, it's not from our planet. It's just Earth dirt from the future. I don't think dirt's changing.
I mean. A little bit, but who cares? It's dirt. Like,
unless there's been like fallout and it's like radioactive, in which case it has changed. But in that case,
you probably don't want it in just a glass tube.
Yes, exactly. So, I'm going to criticize Brainy's, or not even Brainy, Win's collection and excitement over the dirt is what I'm criticizing here.
Yeah. It's dirt.
Yeah, and I'm not critiquing this as a critique of the episode in a writing point. I'm just critiquing Win's taste. Yeah. But hey, so that's the thing. I thought there was some good stuff in here, and I think what I want to talk about the most, and perhaps my favourite scene of the episode, and it's funny because this sort of like snowballs off of a complaint you had about the last episode about Supergirl's attitude with Kryptonite and Lena and that whole dispute. I kind of like what they're doing with this. Because the scene in the elevator at the end, Lena knows.
She has to know.
Did you look at some of the glances she was giving her like between sentences where she was sort of looking over for a reaction? Like she knows. She is playing this, like, which is very Luthor, might I add. But I like this because obviously in the middle of the episode when Lena comes, like James convinces her, like, go and just tell Supergirl you've got Kryptonite and it'll help. She'll be appreciative because she can stop Rain with it. And of course she just goes off, no, this is Kryptonite. And Lena brings up some good points. She's like, hey, we can all be shot by guns, we can all be burned, we can all be hit by cars, and we live with that every day. We don't,
do you know what I thought was really weird about this is she doesn't mention guns in that scene. She starts with the fire, so we can all be burned, and then says the cars. Which...
I wonder if that's a subtle way of saying that she thinks that we should have gun control.
Well, no, this is what I'm getting to. I thought it was interesting that she says that. She doesn't mention anything that, okay, you do need a license to have a car. Not everyone just gets one.
Don't need a license to make fire, though.
Well, no. Although, you don't sell fireworks to kids.
No, but I can still buy some stuff to burn you alive pretty easily.
You probably could. Yeah.
Not that I'm a kid, admittedly, but still, I'm saying I don't need a firework to do it. There's other ways. 2 sticks can do it. I can get a couple of sticks and burn you.
If you can get a fire out of 2 sticks, I'll give you a tenner.
Look, admittedly, I don't think I have the skill to do it, but in theory, it could be done.
Yeah, sure. But what I was getting to is, it struck me as really weird because she notably didn't say guns in that scene, which I thought was the really obvious thing to jump to, right? As the parallel, because it's been used as a weapon.
Yeah, obviously.
And later on, Supergirl says, "Oh yeah, no, all your things you said earlier," and she says guns and all the other things you said earlier. And I thought, well, that was weird. She didn't say guns earlier. You've just put that in yourself.
I'm not sure what point you're trying to make here.
I thought it was interesting, presumptuous on Supergirl's part to jump in with guns and the other and stuff you said earlier, like as if she'd said guns earlier.
I don't know. To me, that just read as she listed a couple of examples, and guns is just another obvious one.
It could be, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily read it as like a sort of like subtext that she's added in guns, and Lena never said guns. Yeah. But
it felt like that to me, but maybe
you're right. I don't know. I never read I was kind of joking that maybe her not saying that we because we don't ban cars, we don't ban flames. Maybe that's her subtle way of saying we should ban guns, but so you can read that way if you want. But
I think for the plot in general, though, I like it from Lena's side of things.
I like it from Lena's side of things, and I actually kind of like. I mean, I wasn't sure at first because when Kara started like, no, it's kryptonite. You shouldn't. You have this, and this is unforgivable, and whatever else. I thought, okay, right, you're being a bit of a cow about this.
Yeah.
But I immediately said, right now that they're sort of really viewing into this, it feels like no, there's a point to this. She's going to have to learn a lesson here. This is she's going to have to learn from this. This is a mistake on her part. The show is clearly treating this as if she's in the wrong. And
no, I get that. It's still a little grating, though.
And at the end of the episode, in that elevator, when Lena does that whole third-person thing where she starts complaining about Supergirl to Kara, and Kara's like really awkward about it, and she's like pure hurt because Lena's like, never meet your idols, and she's awful. Yeah, she's hypocritical.
I'll never trust her again.
Yeah, I can never trust her again. Yeah.
And I'm like, do you know what? You probably shouldn't.
Yeah, and she even name drops James. She's like, yeah, and James was asked to infiltrate and spy on me, but he never done it, of course. And he's like, he didn't?
Like, no, why would he?
He trusts me.
We've been in a relationship for months. We trust each other.
Do you know what's funny about that scene actually in the elevator? Is that earlier on in the episode when she first comes back to the DEO and she's with Supergirl, I actually had the thought, I was like, wait a minute, how long has it been now since she's seen Kara? Like, not Supergirl. Right? Yeah. And funnily enough, she said that when she came out the elevator at the end, she's like, oh, it's been weeks since I've seen you. And I'm like, yeah, it has been a while since you've seen Kara as Kara.
Yeah.
But no, that really was cracking me up. Because I think she was making some good points. I think it was a fun scene, and it makes me trust them as to what they're doing with this. Where Kara's going to have to learn that she basically effed up. She's effing up with her attitude about this.
We're going full villain with Lena, right?
Very possibly, and I think that works. I also think it would work if they didn't, and it's actually just no, Kara's in the wrong. She has to learn from this. Like that could also work if they want to go down that path.
No, that's fair. I think I like if she kind of pushes, if Kara kind of pushed her into becoming a villain, but it'll make her a much more sympathetic villain because we side with her at this point.
When she was debating earlier on about kryptonite, I was on her side. In this elevator, she's being a little bit sly about it, but I'm still mostly on her side.
Oh, absolutely. Everything she says is right.
And what I like about that is that it's Kara isn't perfect. She makes mistakes. She has an attitude problem about some things. And I think as long as if she does push Lena into being a villain, as long as Kara really realizes that at least at some point and feels regret about it and feels guilt about it, then I'm totally fine with it because it's good character development for her.
Yeah, I'm with you.
To acknowledge your fault. So no, I actually really like what it's doing with this now. Before, whenever the kryptonite things come up and she's been really kind of bitchy about it, it's kind of felt like, why? Because obviously, I mean, maybe it's just because we've read comics and stuff and we know how Superman treats kryptonite in the comics, but in this show they've treated it as very no, how dare you have kryptonite? You should destroy it all. There should be nothing that can kill me. It's like, well,
literally calls it out as you've got a god complex. Yeah. You're afraid of one thing that could kill you.
And Kara kind of counters by saying, "Oh, but it feels like this," and she describes how it feels, how bad it is. Like, she gets near it, and it's like nails running through your blood and whatever. And it's like, okay, fine, it's bad, but still.
I think the obvious counter from Lena to that argument of like, but what if I'm in a room with this? Is like people with like really bad like peanut allergies. It's like if it's in a room, some of them they can be afraid. Some of them like I've known people who are afraid just be in a room with them because if they breathe it in too much, like it might trigger a reaction.
As someone who enjoys a peanut, I would be offended at having to remove my peanuts from the room.
Exactly. How dare they make you stop eating them?
I'm joking. If it's actually that bad, I don't have a problem with moving the peanuts out the room.
Right, exactly. But I think that's the counter back to that is her going, yeah, but this is really bad for me. It's like, it's worse than just, I could get hit by a car. It's like, well, yeah, but some kid could be in a room with peanuts and be terrified.
Yeah, but like I say, like that's why I like this, is because she's clearly in the wrong. Because see, if the show was trying to play it as if we should be on Kara's side, I'd have a problem with this. But it's not. The show was clearly putting us down the path of no, Kara's in the wrong about this, and she has to learn. She's got a lesson to learn about this. I think it's
just a little grating to watch from her perspective for it.
It was at first when she first started complaining, but as soon as Lena started firing back, all of that went away from me.
Oh, fair enough.
Especially in that elevator scene. I really like that elevator scene because it's really challenging her as a character, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So you got that. Obviously, they realise that she's going after Ruby because she shows up and attacks Lena and Jimmy after they've been copulating, possibly for the first time. I think maybe.
Lena hits. I don't think so.
I don't know, because I get the feeling that they've not really been around each other that much. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt like it might have been the first time.
I feel like the fact that Lena even says to Carousel, "Hey, we've been in a relationship for a while."
Yeah, but I mean, sure, but we've gone weeks without seeing each other.
Right, but I don't believe it was the first time by any means.
Maybe right. I expect TV shows to always kind of make a point of it, I guess.
Okay, no, I'm with you.
I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
No. But on the scene here, I thought it was notable that she uses like the kryptonite gas to get rid of her.
Mm-hmm.
And doesn't mention that to Supergirl when she shows up.
Don't think she has to. I think she just would know that it can be used in a number of different ways.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because what is kryptonite gas outside of just crushed up kryptonite that's been,
No. But this is before she's told Supergirl that she's got more. Right?
Yeah, no, but why would she need to mention the gas specifically?
Well, no, I just thought it's a really useful form for them to use it in.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
As opposed to putting it in a minigun, which, by the way, I don't think I'll laugh more in this episode when Ruby tries to pick up the minigun. She's like, "I've got this, Supergirl." She goes to pick up a minigun. Oh, like Ruby, you instantly just doubled your worth as a character with that moment.
This is why she's going to end up with Alex.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. She's a badass in training.
She's going for the guns.
She's a badass in training. And we find out where Ruby is, of course. Ruby is hiding in Lexi's mansion, which she has cloaking tech on so that no one can see it.
That's pretty cool.
And she sends Alex wants to go and protect Ruby, so... And again, they're sort of tying, the bond between them so that it'll make sense when she adopts her, which is totally going to happen. Yeah. And, they have some jokes about the house, but Ruby, of course, wants to call her mum, because no one's actually told her what's going on, so she just thinks her mum's sick. So, this is the sort of thing where I might sometimes complain that kids are idiots, but I actually don't think she is in this case with the information she has.
No, she's been told she's sick.
She's been told she's sick. Under no circumstance does Ruby have any idea that they're protecting her from her mum.
No. And I assume what you're talking about is her, phoning her.
Yes, that's the sort of thing that in other stories, that might be the point where that kid's an idiot for doing this, but...
She has no reason to think that her mum is anything but in a hospital bed.
Exactly. Yeah. If anything, if I was Ruby, I'd be really dying for answers as to why have I been taken out to this random mansion and why am I in lockdown? Why are all these things happening? Because although I did cringe at the one line of dialogue where she said to Alex, "I'm 12, I can handle anything." If she'd said, "I'm 12, I can handle this," I'd have been okay with it, because I feel like at the age of 12 you do start to say things like that. You're like, "Look, I'm 12, I'm not 8 anymore. Give me some information as to what's going on."
Yeah.
But I can handle anything. Ruby, I'm late 20s. I can't handle half the shit that exists.
I was half expecting just to see Alex trying not to laugh at that.
Yeah. That was a goofy line. But at the same time, it kind of works because, okay, it's coming from a kid, so you buy it's the sort of stupid thing that the kid might say.
Yeah, no, I get it.
It kind of works in that way, but it stuck out to me. It's like, okay, no,
It's a bit cringy.
you can't handle anything, Ruby. You can handle more than you could, sure, but not anything.
Yeah.
No one can handle anything.
No.
Look who I'm talking to.
Speak for yourself.
I'm speaking.
I can handle many a thing.
Not everything.
Let's see about that.
Oh yeah, well I'll hand you some plutonium. See how you handle that.
Oh yeah, let's do it.
So that's Connor's kryptonite, plutonium.
I think that's humans' kryptonite.
I think it's all living animals' kryptonite, to be honest.
Touche.
So, aliens aside that we don't know exist yet, perhaps maybe they could be fine with it. But any life on Earth, we're pretty screwed. So obviously Rain at first goes to Sam's like adoptive mother. I was glad they killed her fairly quickly because her acting, as pointed out the last time she showed up, was not the best.
Good.
But it was whatever. They seem surprised that she has the other powers. Maybe it's just from our perspective because we see all the energy of different colours going into her that we took it for granted. Oh, she has all the powers of the other two now.
Yeah, did they see that happen?
They were kind of around, but I mean, it's possible to argue they were just kind of like trying to survive all the crumbling rock and shit. And
yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, they get up and go, "Oh, there's pestilence still going on. What's going on there?"
To be fair, like once they see her use a power or two, they quite quickly say, "Oh, she has the powers of the other two." Right? Like it's not a thing. So, then she kills the mom, and then of course she goes to attack the mansion. And Supergirl and John. Well, John goes to the first time, but then he gets attacked too bad. He's too hurt to go back for round 2, so he ends up sitting out a little bit. But Mon-El comes back, of course. We'll talk about obviously the blight has been stopped, even though Rain has the pestilence powers. It still stopped the blight because the other Legionnaires are still okay.
Yeah, I assume this is because I think what they were said is pestilence evolved into blight. So that was as a separate entity continued into becoming that, whereas Rain will never do that. It'll just stay at this stage.
Yeah, presumably Supergirl just stopped Rain originally.
Yeah,
but pestilence lived on.
Even if not, then I think it just never evolved past that in Rain's body.
Yeah, sure. So, but Mon-El comes back. I mean, at least he's got his good suit now, so he looks like he belongs standing next to Supergirl when they go fighting.
It does.
Yeah.
As soon as we get an emblem on his chest.
Also, there was a full homage to the original Superman movie here, specifically the extended cut of the Superman movie. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Remind me.
It's the hallway where all the different things come out to attack Rain. In the extended cut of the original Superman film, Lex has like a hallway in the sewer like that freezes him, burns him, shoots him. Like it's all the different things.
Yeah, I remember now.
Which I liked quite a bit. I did. I think it was a little bit weird that she stopped to like absorb what was happening every single time. She didn't just keep walking. She always paused and kind of like, oh, fire. And then she paused. I'll give the ice though, because the ice actually did stop her from moving. Like it actually, stopped her for a couple of seconds. But the other two, she actually stopped and was like, bullets. Walk, walk, walk. Stop. Fire. It was kind of weird. Just keep walking.
Yeah, it's not phasing you. Just keep going.
Yeah, but no, I enjoyed the fight scene down there though. Like I say, Ruby going for the minigun was fun, and then Mon-El putting the kryptonite in the minigun and firing kryptonite, machine bullets, machine gun bullets at her was fun stuff. And of course, her mask gets knocked off, and Ruby sees her face, and that sets up that. It's interesting to me that they've captured Rain and they've got her in lock and key.
Yeah, especially with this many episodes left.
Yeah, it's episode 18, so I mean, I assume she'll break out. Obviously, there's a little tease scene at the end, and we'll see where that goes. But it does feel oddly wrapped up for now.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Obviously, I expect a lot of human stuff. That we're trying to talk Sam back out and try to save her, and it'll be emotional now because Ruby's there. And
I'm really intrigued to see what's the point where the point of no return. Assuming that we are going this route of she has to die, and then Alex is going to adopt Ruby. What's the point where we have to go, right, okay, that's the only decision left? And who takes that step?
I can almost see a scene in my head where she's about to kill Ruby, and that's the moment they kill her. Like, they were trying to avoid it up until she's about to take her life.
Maybe. I can see it being Lena being the one to do it.
Yeah.
And that'll be another thing that'll push her away from Kara, because Kara will be like, no, you killed her.
Yeah, step to the dark side. And that'll be the moment where she's like, okay, look, I did a lot of shitty things, my attitude's been awful, but you just crossed a line. And it'll maybe start the rift properly. I think it's pretty clear that next season we're doing Kara versus Lena.
We have to at this point.
Yeah, we're kind of inching towards that a little bit. So we had that. Obviously, she tries to talk her down by appealing to her sense of honor, like what her mission statement is. An idea she gets from Moran, who's having really bad memory problems, and Jean's sort of struggling to keep him right.
It's got a cracker of a reference, though.
Go on.
To the Eradicator.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, he mentions the Eradicator project because it's like his memories are kind of coming in, and he thinks like Supergirl's someone else, and he's like, oh yeah, you try to shut down the Eradicator program. We can't do that.
And I'm like, oh, okay, is this something we might be doing next season, maybe?
Yeah, possibly. I don't know if it'll be a big thing, but I could definitely see it like a couple of episodes.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah. Eradicator's cool.
Yeah, definitely.
That's what I'm trying to say. I mostly like this episode. I mean, obviously, the Mon-El or Imra stuff were like, I don't want you unless you're fully committed to me, so you should stay and help. The chances go up to 80% if you stay and help them fight. It still seems to imply, though, that he's going to leave once that's done. Like, it seems like he can still go back to the future.
It does, because, Imra's like, hey, if you come back, I'll know that we're good.
Yeah, so he still has a way to get back, seemingly. So here's hoping.
Yeah. I just my other criticism is within the action sequence that really annoyed me was the one where they were fighting Rain outside the mother's house.
Yeah.
So Rain used the heat vision and sets a tree on fire, and it's just a tree on fire for ages. There is no heat vision in the direction of the house at any point, and then Supergirl throws her at the house, and suddenly it's on fire. Like there was no heat vision.
Okay.
It just explodes out the window of fire. I'm like, where did that come from?
Actually, I never even clocked that, but I'll take your word for it.
It really bothered me because it's like, what just happened? I had to go and watch that bit again to check that I hadn't missed something.
Yeah, it's interesting actually that she's got like more powers. It's kind of funny how like Flash right now we've got a villain who can do like multiple different powers because he's absorbed several people, and now we've got Rain on Supergirl like doing the poison stuff and the Canary Cry.
And Arrow has a dude.
Arrow has Diaz.
There's a really shitty dude.
Who's coming back next season, the bastards. So, yeah. No, I thought it was a pretty solid episode, though, overall. Like, I like what it's doing with Supergirl and Lena. I like the Moran stuff is kind of touching. Action was mostly pretty fun. Supergirl with the cape and, Alex trying to get a shot off with her fancy gun and they kind of do this thing where they've got her hands tied in their capes, but they're on the wrong side, so they kind of flip over each other to open her up.
It's nice. Yeah, the action choreography is mostly pretty good when they're as a team.
Yeah, no, it's solid. I think they're getting better with Alex, but I feel like Alex, just something as simple as having the magnet for her gun is just adding a little thing.
It's got a bit more flow to it, hasn't it?
Yeah, because she goes to like grab it again with the magnet, and then Rain like kicks it away, like so it's and I was like, man, Alex, like you're good, but I don't think you can take on Rain yourself. You beat up Supergirl already. Like you're screwed on your own here. But no, so if we don't get to like season 7 of this show and Ruby, who at that point will be like 19, isn't walking around with a minigun, the show's done something wrong. Like that's what they've set up in my mind now. Is Ruby walking around with a minigun?
I'm just picturing him basing a power armor from Fallout.
Yes. Yeah.
I need it.
And she'll have a partner called Sapphire, Ruby and Sapphire.
Obviously,
There'll be a duo, dynamic duo with their power armors and miniguns. Well, she'll have a minigun. Maybe Sapphire will have like a rocket launcher or something.
Energy sword.
Energy sword, sure.
Why not?
maybe
Go all out.
maybe a katana. More on katanas in a minute. There's a lot of katana references in in the Flash this week. But yeah, no, I thought Supergirl was pretty good. So I think it wasn't like a standout episode. You know, sometimes you got those episodes that are really special. It wasn't one of those by any means, but I think it did a lot of solid character progression in the plots and stuff.
I agree.
I don't know where they're going now that Reign's captured. Like, you know, 4 episodes from the end, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of what I said last week, right? It feels like we're ramping up to the end of the season. It's like, but we've still got a bit to go.
Which could be exciting because they might like really swerve us in terms of what we're going to do. We should mention, of course, the last scene when Carly from Travelers shows up. She's came back from the future, like the Legion, and she steals the cult. I can't remember his name, but the dude who was in prison, who believed in Rao and all that. Yeah. She steals their book. Their Bible that had all the world killers in it and stuff, and that's the last scene is her running off with that book.
Just want to say they called her Tanya,
and
I'm wondering, is this going to be the Tanya the new Power Girl that we've had in the comics lately?
You know, I mean, not that this is really proof or anything, but her haircut is actually kind of
very similar, right?
It's very very Power Girl-esque. Yeah, obviously not the original Power Girl with the boob window. We're not doing that, but.
Yeah.
I could see. Yeah, actually, that's not a terrible guess. It's funny because it sort of flashes to Julia, the other world killer, and I'm wondering if she's related to her because it kind of flashed to her as if she was important to her in some way.
I assume so. Yeah.
Yeah, either related or maybe they're friends or something. But that's why she's stealing this is because she's wanting to know where her friend is, and she's sort of connected the dots to here.
Yeah, no, I thought so as well, but I just thought, maybe we can do a little Power Girl thing here.
I'd be cool. She's good on Traveler. She's a good actress, so I'd be all for having her around. And yeah, I just if it can fit in the schedule, that is. If she's I don't know when Traveler shoots exactly compared to this, but
yeah, I have no idea.
But hey, why not? They all shoot in Canada though, so maybe she just has time to run over to the other set.
Maybe the schedule will be different for Travelers this year with it being Netflix now rather than doing a network.
Yeah, they're shooting now, so I think it still overlaps, but maybe because it's an ensemble, she's not there every day, it's easy to take other jobs. Because it's not the first time we've seen people in multiple shows in Canada just kind of jumping around.
What's his name on Shield and Supergirl? Pazda.
Oh, sure, I was going to say, I mean Piper, but...
No, I'm just talking about, in a bigger role for, jumping around between shows.
Yeah,
well,
true.
Said, notably lacking on this back half of the season for Supergirl.
Although, yeah, that's the thing though. Shield doesn't shoot in Canada.
No, they don't. Which I think was my point is, even when they're not in Canada, we can still share. On
but I think it's notable that since he's been on Shield, he's been notably absent from Supergirl. I wonder if he pops up for the last couple of episodes because
maybe that's what we do with this chunk.
Yeah, Pazdar's back.
Yeah.
Morgan Edge back with a vengeance.
I'd quite like that because I'm missing him.
I'd like to have him back. Yeah, no, I agree. So no, that's cool. But yeah, so no, maybe that is Tanya Power Girl. I don't know, but curious to see where that leads as well. So the Flash, season 4, episode 22, penultimate episode. It's called Think Fast. Which, by the way, how did it take them 4 seasons to do Think Fast as a title? I'm shocked.
I know, it is crazy, isn't it?
It's kind of like how the first episode of Supergirl this year was Girl of Steel, and I was shocked that it took them 2 seasons before they did that. But hey, it just shows there's a lot of obvious titles that they're still getting to. They're like, we've still got some in the bank, some good puns.
I feel like they made a list at the start, and they're like, we're only allowed to use 2 per season.
Yeah, maybe.
Can't use them all at once.
Yeah. All right. Actually, I'll tell you what I'm shocked at. I'm shocked that there's been no... what's the artist? I can't remember. You know the 80s song, I'm Going to Run to You? Foreigner, okay. I think, maybe? That's not Foreigner.
Yeah.
You know the song I'm talking about, though?
I know the song you're on about, yeah.
I'm surprised that's not popped up in the show at some point.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Think Fast. Not bad, actually. I thought this was probably one of the better episodes we've had recently.
It is. I think the opening scene in the hallway suffers a tiny bit for feeling like it's doing a knockoff of Legion, but pretty damn good.
Yeah, the opening scene with DeVoe kind of going into the Argus base, It's easily the most fun I've had with him as a villain in a while.
Yeah.
He's basically showing like how powerful he is by using all of his powers to take out all these guards, and it was almost reminiscent. It was almost like his version of the Damien Dark scene on Legends, where he was like just having fun killing people left and right.
It is. Like I said, it felt to me like one of the scenes in Legion.
Yeah.
Of, just going through the hallway doing all the powers.
Yeah, because he uses all these different powers. He teleports them, he shrinks one guy and steps on him. Like there's all these different things.
We got Hallelujah playing in the background, and he's just conducting along.
And he actually shapeshifts his Diggle to get for them to put down their defenses before he goes in.
Yeah.
Which was fun. And Diggle himself actually pops up in the episode later, and which is a funny scene because Barry speeds him into the room and he's like, "I hate you,"
and everyone's there going, "Wait, quick, trash can! Diggle's coming."
Well, actually, Iris is holding a bottle of water. She's waiting. She knows he's going to be needing a drink.
Yeah. The rest of them are all running around trying to find an appropriate one for him to throw.
I mean, I think, as with Flash in general, there's a couple of complaints to make, but this is easily the most I've enjoyed an episode since Flash time.
Easily.
Harry was killing me this episode. He was hilarious.
Yeah. It's a really sad hilarious, though, isn't it?
It's a really sad hilarious, but he was really funny, because he comes storming out at the start, he's got a tablet in his hand, he's like, guys, like, he's stumbling over chairs, like, guys, look,
put that chair there.
There's something I need to tell you guys. I found this on the internet. There's someone blogging about the Thinker, and they're like, that's Iris's blog, right? And everyone's just looking at him, and he's like, no, he's like, look, and it's like, here's the thing. It's like, no, Iris, wait, anonymous user. Mic drop. And she's like, hold on to that mic. Hold on to it.
Not a real mic.
Not a real mic. That was so funny. And then later on, she kind of pities him a little bit. She's like, hey, you can still help. You can still be useful, because he's feeling useless. So you can still help me. Let's try and figure out where Marlies might be. That's like their task. That's them as a twosome. But everyone else is dealing with DeVoe and like powers and stuff. They're doing that, which I like. I like. It's a different pair than normal.
I liked it at first. I think Iris it annoyed me towards the end a bit, where she's like, "Hey Harry, come on, let's go and do something," and then she's like, doesn't listen to a thing he says.
Yeah, it's like she's being nice, because it's like he's a kid, but then gets annoyed at him for being a kid.
Right, but he's actually making good suggestions for the most part. Like, it's the most logical he's sounded in a while. Yeah,
I think just to play devil's advocate with her being annoyed at that one scene, where she's like, "Oh, I get stabbed," and she's like, "Here's my blade." Also, you get a flash of my hairy chest there, viewers at home. Enjoy it. But she, at least it kind of makes sense. Okay, right, so she's got like a sort of vengeance in her right now. This is like, inspired by like almost hatred. She's like, she's mad at her. It's like, no, we can't reason with her. She's evil. She stabbed me. So I get what they're doing with it. I do think it's thin. It's a little bit, quick to the.
It's a bit overly aggressive.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it hasn't really set up this hatred of Marlies in this way up until now.
Yeah, that's it. I did like when she gets really angry at him for stomping in his shoes. Mainly because the argument felt very realistic. As someone who hates not wearing shoes in houses and hates being told to take them off, I'm completely on Harry's side here, just for the record.
I think you have to. I think it's you're fine to wear in your own house, but someone asked you to take them off in their house. That's it. House rules.
No. I'm not saying I would disrespect someone else's request. I'm saying I hate it.
I don't understand why.
I hate walking about my socks. I despise it.
It makes no sense to me.
I despise it. They always get really loose and it feels baggy at the bottom. I don't know. I don't like it.
You need better socks.
I don't like it. I hate it. Anyway, so bit of trivia. I hate not wearing shoes. I mean, bare feet's fine.
Just get slippers, right?
I don't like slippers. They're too soft.
Well, just get firmer slippers.
No, I like proper shoes. Anyway, the point I'm getting at is she gets mad at him, and again, there's some funny stuff in this scene because he's knocking on the wrong door at first. He's like, "Oh, you moved," and she's like,
yeah, I'm okay with her being annoyed at the childlike stuff.
Oh yeah, sure. I wasn't still sticking up for that. I was just getting to other jokes that I liked. There was that, and then when he gets in, and she's like, she realizes, no, I want you to take your shoes off because this is, mine and Barry's first home, and it means a lot to me. And she has that revelation. She's like, oh, I think I know where to find her. Maybe she'll be in her first home with DeVoe. We'll go and find that. But she doesn't say that. She says, oh, I think I know where she might be. And he's like, apartment 4. It's like, no, Harry, come on. And then maybe the best one is at the end when they find Marlies, or just before they find her. They breach to London where her first apartment was, and they're like, okay, she's not here, and he's got the gun, and she's like, hey, this teapot's still warm. You know what that means? And he's like, oh, we can have tea. And she actually pulls the gun out of his hands. No, I'll take the gun now, Harry. Thank you. You're clearly useless. Oh, Harry was cracking me up. Every time he thought he had something and he didn't, or whatever, like all of that stuff was great.
It's fantastic, and it's so sad though because it's coming from this place that the more this happens, the worse he's getting, the closer he's getting to losing all of his memories.
Yeah. Also, pretty decent comedy-wise. Not as good, but with Cecile, where she starts like taking on personalities of people who in the close range, because she starts just saying like "brah" and like oh, I could gnarly brah and all the stuff for shitty talk, and it's like, what's happening? And then the doorbell rings and the pizza delivery guy is just like that. Like that's his.
And you get it instantly. It's like, okay, yeah. I know what you're doing here.
Also, can I just say, I love that because Joe used a katana one time, he keeps it in the house and like wants to use it. Like, because Cecile's like, Joe, you don't need a katana to take me to the hospital, alright? You don't need the katana. He's like, yeah, but the samurai may attack.
What if it takes the hospital? It's like, it won't. I mean, it could. It happens all the time here.
And then later on, like when she's like got Joe's brain in her head, she just walks out with a katana. And she's like, let's go to the hospital. And she's got a katana in her hand. It was good stuff. Like, the comedy was working really well. They were actually talking about flash time stuff a lot because they were trying to like figure out, okay, DeVoe's in Argus, he's got into the radioactive dude, and like they've got like 10 hours until he siphons all of his power so that he can like power all of his satellites and shit. That's what he's doing. And it's okay, so and DeVoe, knowing that the Flash might come for him, has got hostages and he's got them like suspended above the explosive triggers that Argus has got all this like trap technology. They've got like it's like some of the tiles will trigger explosions, but they randomize every hour as to which one it'll be. And it's like, okay, I can get really fast. I can steal some of the energy from the blast to like get fast enough to go into the breach with into the pocket dimension with the Vo, but that'll kill all the hostages. And it becomes this thing. Okay, how do we solve this? And I like this. I like kind of when Flash does this when it becomes about problem solving, even if the science behind how they solve it is usually completely ridiculous.
Is the word you're looking for.
But it's like, hey, Barry, me and Caitlin, Cisco and Caitlin, we can do that. And it's like, but how? It's like, flash time. Yeah, but as soon as I let go of you, you won't be in flash time anymore. It's like, aha. But we think you can pass it on for like, 55 milliseconds, which, relatively speaking, is a long time in flash time.
It gives them 30 seconds maybe.
So the episode becomes about them like trying to like practice this and failing miserably. Caitlin's got to see the therapist about, Killer Frost, and she's like, yeah, I need to get this other personality back, and the therapist is all like, well, so you've got multiple personality disorder.
Tell me about your childhood.
Yeah. So, oh no, this is all adult trauma. My childhood was fine. But of course, the big reveal is, and just before we move on from that scene, I like the joke where she's like, hey, do you charge by the hour? For you and your friends, I charge quarterly, every quarter hour. Because they always run out for emergencies.
That often, yeah.
Yeah. So.
Right? It's like she could charge by the hour and get. They run out after 10 minutes, but she could just charge them for a full hour. But no, it's like, all right, well, you're going to keep coming back, so.
Well, I think the joke is not so much that she's giving them a deal, it's more that she just charges them a full hour per 15 minutes because she knows that's all she's getting out of them.
Right, but it's considerate that, for their time schedule. Because it's like, well, at least they're not, I don't know, it feels considerate to me.
Well, no, because I assume she's charging her the full hour just for 15 minutes.
I assume it's a slightly reduced rate for the 15 minutes, because otherwise she's just charging hourly still.
Well, no, because if they're there for 30 minutes, she's charging for 2 hours.
Right, but they're never there for 30 minutes, so it's fine.
But they might be, and if they do, she's in the bank. She's like, yes, cha-ching.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it could happen one day.
That's how I read that joke. I read that joke as, no, I charge you for the full hour every 15 minutes because you always run out before the end of the session.
No, I get that, but like I said, because they always run out, I feel like charging hourly is exactly the same anyway. They're paying for the full hour whether they use it or not. So you have to do something to incentivize them to charge that way. Otherwise, when they charge for a half hour and it's double the price.
You are thinking about this way too much. The joke is because they always run out. She's making sure she gets her money. That is the joke.
I know she gets her money either way. But it's gotta think through your jokes more.
No, because you're ruining the joke. You're overthinking it and you're picking it apart and it's not working anymore.
Well, then they should write the joke better.
No, the joke was fine. This is you. This is all on you. This is your problem.
Well, we'll see about that.
Anyway, so the big twist here is that when Cisco vibes her back to this memory that she has a glimpse of during Flash time, is she was already Killer Frost. She turned into Killer Frost when she was a kid, when she got hit by a car, and she hurt her leg, and she's like, but wait, I thought the particle accelerator exploding gave me my powers and created Killer Frost. So this is kind of an interesting reveal in that sense, that no, this was before that. That's not what gave you these powers.
Well, I was interested. Look forward to seeing that explanation. Because obviously we've had metas now that have not been caused by particle accelerators.
Yeah. If anything, I would critique the show that it keeps having a new reason every season. Like season 1, it was the accelerator. Season 2, it was almost always the from Earth to from Zoom. Season 3, it's
Savitar did it.
What?
Savitar did it.
Yeah, Savitar's like husk things. And season 4, it's the bus metas this year. Like there's always like a new batch of them.
It is, yeah. But I mean, at least the bus metas are still using dark matter.
True. Well, I don't mind them not using dark matter. I'm saying that there should be more variation. There should be more randomness to it, as opposed to there's always like a set thing each season. This is why we have all these metas this year. But no, it's interesting. I was intrigued by that, and so because at first I was like, what's the point of this twist? And then she's like, oh, but that means it was before the particle accelerator. I was like, oh, that's why it's interesting, because we just assumed that's when she got her powers. So no, that's cool. Yeah, there's a little bit of Barry getting like a bit antsy, but it's not as bad as it's been. And at least when he gets into his fight with Cisco, it played a little bit better because it was kind of based on him losing Ralph. So it was like, okay, this is working better than it has been recently. And it worked to the point where they actually argued it out to the conclusion where they kind of agreed to do the thing at the end. And I specifically like when Iris was about to step in, and Harry, even in his dumb state, was like, no, let this play out. Yeah, this has to actually happen. They have to get this out in the open. Yeah, so it was a bit thin because, the drama in The Flash tends to be thin, right? This is not like...
Yeah. But this is relatively thin even by the Flash's standards, right?
No, but the Flash's standards, I say this is not that thin.
Do you think?
I think it's usually thinner than this. I'm not saying this is not thin. I'm saying that everything with Ralph in the past, 6-7 episodes was really damn thin.
It was, yeah. I think that's why this still feels relatively thin to me, because it's still just playing off that.
Yeah, sure, yeah. At least in concept, this worked better. Like, I understood the logic. Whereas, a lot of the stuff with Ralph in previous episodes, I just didn't understand the reason for Barry's bullshit.
That's fair.
Whereas here's, no, he died, he feels responsible. Simple, but it works.
Yeah.
So,
Now, I think we have to get on to another running criticism of The Flash. You just said how every season we get a different reason for the metas.
Oh, go on.
Why do we have to end every season with a giant light in the sky coming out of Star Labs? This time it's purple.
DeVoe launches his satellites. By the way, can I just say that they only destroy one satellite because the plan works. Barry, jumps through the portal.
That's the thing.
It's a fun little action sequence of them all doing their thing in Flash time and whatnot. He jumps through the portal. He runs up the building. It's pretty cool. And he throws the cluster bomb that Amunet made for him.
And it's like, aha! I've done it. I've beaten you.
He destroyed 1 of 5, and then he just picks a different satellite. He picks a Star Labs satellite to be the 5th one. I'm like, but even before that, I was like, but there's still 4. Like, that's still 80%.
No, but I think the point was that they all had to bounce to boost it properly. So you needed 5 in position for it to work at all.
Okay, sure.
But my question is then, it reminded me, it's like, hey, he's got all those powers that can just hack anything. Why don't you just pull any 5 satellites that are already up there? Why bother launching them himself?
Yeah. I honestly, I questioned that. Why does he need to have his own satellites up there? Maybe he's putting tech in it that's useful or needed for it or something.
Right, and that's fine if you tell me that, but then he needs all 5, if that's the point. You can't just pull in another one and go, that'll do. Otherwise, you might as well just pull in 5 and go, these will do.
Unless those 4 are doing the processing and then this 5th one is just sort of bouncing it off for them.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's the least of my concerns, honestly.
No, mine too.
with the complaints I'd have with this stuff. And obviously, Marlize seems convinced that she might end up helping at the end. She's kind of on board. But yeah, we have the big ending. For a penultimate episode, it has the ending it probably should, where, oh crap, his plan's going to work. The beam of light's in the sky. Is all going to happen.
He's here in Star Labs, and he's in the vault.
It's funny, I thought in the first chunk of this season it was going to be really easy to compare this to season 3 and say, oh no, Devoe's definitely better than Savitar, but it's been so murky this back half that I'm not even sure, because I liked him a lot more this episode to Savitar, for the most part. Like, all this stuff at the start with the hallway and him actually using his powers, like, all that stuff was really good. But it's been so murky up until now.
He was really good for the first, but up till maybe Christmas time.
Yeah.
And then we hit a slump.
Then we hit the murder, the fake murder.
Yes. And from that point, I've kind of been just like, okay.
We often talk about these shows, like maybe they benefit from having shorter episode orders, and I think that's the truest for The Flash, even more than Arrow. I think The Flash, every year, I look at it and go, this would be so much better, even with just 4 episodes cut. Just take away 4 or 5 episodes, and all the relevant things in those 4 or 5, double those up with other episodes, and all of a sudden you have a stronger 18-episode season.
Absolutely. I think for me, with the thinking, the moment he went downhill was when he started jumping bodies.
That's fair.
He lost his presence.
Yeah.
So it's been better now. We've got the original actor back these last couple, but even so, he hasn't really had the same presence until this episode, where he's just going all out.
It's just because I think Flash, more than any of them, like I think you can look at Supergirl and Arrow and say, you could probably trim these down, make them a bit tighter, and that would be true. But I think with Flash, more than any of them,
I think it's got the most potential to be better, right? Like Supergirl is what it is, and it could be a bit better, sure, but I'm not expecting amazing plots from Supergirl. Whereas with Flash, it's like I can see the villain being so amazing here. I can see the plot being so much tighter.
Yeah, I kind of just wish they did what Shield does. Just split it into pods. Just do 3 or 4 plots a year. Like, I think it would benefit the storytelling so much. And because we talked about how they were just sort of repeating things with Barry and Ralph for like 4 episodes, 5 episodes, and it was really but by the time it did it the 5th time, like I was flat out hating the episode. And typically with Flash, I'll have my complaints, but I usually still enjoy the characters. But in that last episode with Ralph and Barry, before the big one where he finally get killed, like I was just done. I was like, no.
Same. And the thing is, there was nothing about that episode on its own that was inherently worse than any of the previous 4 times it had done it.
No, it was just the 5th time.
Just that it was the 5th time it had done it, and you're sick of it.
Yeah, no. So right there, cut out 4 of those episodes.
But it's better immediately.
And this season is better. It just is.
I honestly think Flash could probably go down to about 14, 15.
Oh no, I think the obvious thing is to say 13, 14, because that's the typical shorter length, but I'm just like, even put it to Legends length, like I can actually just see the benefit. I can see just taking away those 4 episodes and tightening the back half up.
Better, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd probably go maybe 16 here, like Legends season 1.
No, again, I can see it going all the way down to 12, and that would be even better. But I'm saying that you can actually just see it being better with the 4 or 5 being taken away.
Mm.
That would be the biggest. Like I think after that, it'd be like kind of like how diminishing returns. Like you get a little bit better each time, with maybe getting a little bit shorter. But I think that initial like taking away 4 or 5 would benefit it so much.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Because I'm like, like this is a pretty solid episode, and if it had just like not slumped for the last like outside of Flash time, which was fantastic, that was the sort of the standout. But outside of that, the last like 8 episodes have been kinda weak-ish.
Yeah, and this is a good episode on its own, but because we're kind of checked out of the season at this point, it's hard to quite care as much as we should. Whereas if this had earned the amount that we should care about this, and then it did this episode, I'd be really hot on it.
Yeah. But hey, so that's the Flash. So we'll move on. We'll move on to Hope. To Krypton. The episode's called Hope. It's season 1, episode 9. It's also the penultimate episode. So we'll get 2 finales next week. So that'll be a big episode. So
this one plays more like a 2-part finale.
You think?
Yeah, it feels like it to me. Like there are certain elements in this episode that are just for this episode, but less so than most of the season. It's more okay. Here we are, going into the end.
Yeah, it's arguably the less exciting one that we've had in the last like several weeks because it's mostly the setup for the next one, and my camera's out of focus. That's really annoying. But there we go. All right, so. Like, the ending's exciting, right? Because obviously Nyssa bashes in the back of the voice of Ro's head, and he's basically just electrical impulses at this point, and he explodes. But then the Brainiac wires come in, and he reforms into what we think of as what Brainiac looks like. He's green. He's got the things in his head. He's got the armor.
He's got the purple lights.
Also, that sound effect as he walks, the thuds, the RoboCop footsteps, basically, is what I'm going to call them. Really, really, really exciting. It looks great, but a lot of episodes is set up. A lot of episodes is set up for the finale. We have, of course, the mistrust between the Zods. Lyta ends up helping General Zod to go and get Doomsday, but Jaina's kind of there to stop them with Seg, and it has a bit of a standoff. Of course, we have the revelation here that Zod's father is Seg-El, which means
something we had been speculating about for a few episodes.
And he of course is putting this together. He's like, "Oh, I don't need you. I am both a Zod and an El." And he opens the thing. Of course, the underground army folk have already taken it at the behest of Seg and Nyssa. Yeah. But yeah, so that's a big thing. It means in this universe, Jor-El and Zod are brothers, which does kind of work. It
adds a nice tragedy to it. It becomes, it becomes a family drama essentially. What they've done to each other, and it's cool that he's essentially Superman's uncle.
And what's funny to me is this makes me wonder: does that mean that Zod is a natural birth? Because it doesn't feel like to me that now Seg and Lyta are going to go to the Genesis Chamber and pimp out a kid that way. Right?
No, maybe not.
We would assume that Nyssa and Seg's kid will be Jor-El.
Yeah.
Right? But then you've got Zod. So, and obviously they had sex at the start of this episode, so was that the conception?
Could have been.
I don't know. But it's interesting.
I think that would line up more based on where they are come the end of the episode. They're a little bit fractured in their relationship, and it's like, okay, how do we get to them having a kid from here?
Because now Seg doesn't trust Lyta very much because she seems to be siding with Zod. Zod tries to kill his grandmother, challenges her to a duel, although she's actually winning. Jaina wins this fight, she's got him, and then Lyta shoots her.
Yeah. So
she's injured now, and that's a whole can of worms. So Lyta's siding with her son.
This show has just become a Zod family drama.
It kind of has become that, and obviously we get Seg at the fortress, and Val-El actually explains what the symbol means. He's like, "Oh, it means hope. It comes from an ancient."
We get the hope lecture.
We get the hope lecture, and the main sort of like House of El themes playing in the background as he's telling it. And it's like, this is where I took my eye. We don't get any Adam this episode. Obviously, Seg's kind of upset about it. He's kind of obviously reconsidering everything that Adam said. He's like, "Oh, he
just think Adam sacrificed himself."
Yeah, which that's what it looked like from his perspective. Absolutely,
we said that last week. We assume he thinks that he's dead.
Yeah,
and he confirms here that he does.
So we'll find out maybe more about Adam's stuff next episode in the finale. But we have him flat out saying, "Hey, everything he said about my grandson, and he's going to be this Superman," and it's almost like he's starting to maybe question if it was true because Adam believed it so much to save him and sacrifice himself. That it's like, okay, that's such a dramatic thing to do that he can't help but wonder. He at least believed it, even if it's hard to believe. Adam believed it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not the only thing we've got none of this episode. Because obviously, Kem's gone. He's been sent away because of everything that happened.
What was it? Kryptonopolis? Was that the city?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, because obviously Argo's mentioned as well because he tells Nyssa to go to Argo and she doesn't. She comes back and saves him. Quite lucky as well because he's getting his ass kicked by.
He is. He's about to go and kill himself, essentially.
Yeah. And we basically see at the end of the episode, Brainiac brings down the shield, the city shield. Yeah. So I'm fairly convinced that we're ending the season with Kandor being taken away.
No, I agree, and I think that leaves us with where do we go next season? Who's still around?
Because it's worth mentioning as well that Superman cape is looking pretty short this episode. It's up to the symbol. It's right up there.
I love that because we've got Val-El is on the watch for Brainiac. It's like, hey, give us an alert when he's close,
Mm.
and then he diverts away from that to do something else that Sega asks him to do. So now Brainiac can essentially just sneak in unannounced.
Yeah, and he kind of like forms himself out of whatever Brainiac stuff with the cables and stuff. Yeah. Nah, obviously he's got a lot of presence when he shows up. It's really exciting. I kind of like that they've built all season to him. Obviously we got a glimpse of him at the start, but like it's kind of nice that they've built to him just being here like this.
Yeah, no,
I like it. But of course, what Val goes off to work on instead is Doomsday's cryo chamber is starting to malfunction, and they have days, maybe weeks, probably hours, until Doomsday can get out.
Yeah.
And I think their plan, because the people down there, their plan is like, no, let's let Kandor be taken, but take Doomsday with it, so it's not our problem anymore. We can all just go to another city. It's fine.
It's not the worst plan ever.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's what happens, and that's like, oh, that's how Doomsday ends up on Earth later. Is it's when they get Kandor that Doomsday ends up.
Be, yeah.
That's how Superman ends up fighting them on Earth at some point.
It plays, and it's a good reason for them to let Brainiac take the city. It's like, we can't stop Doomsday. Right, so let him be taken.
I wonder if it turns into an evacuation and they get like so many people out, but obviously maybe there's still enough that it's like a sad moment when the city gets taken. Like they'll evacuate maybe like 40% of the city, but then the last 60 will be.
I think what I love about it most is even if they get everyone out, right? Hypothetically, it's sad because it's the end of the planet. Right, that's the beginning of the end for the planet.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, not everyone knows that, but our characters do. Seg knows that.
Yeah, exactly. So it doesn't matter, if they evacuate everyone. It's okay. We bought 200 years, but that's it then. That's the end.
Yep.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed the episode. I mean, I say it's not as exciting as the previous because I think the previous few episodes have all had really great ideas and tight, like beginning, middle, and ends. Whereas, like you say, this was kind of the first half of the finale. So. I'm really excited to see where we go next episode.
I really think it'll play fine on a rewatch as a binge, but as a week to week, this is probably the least satisfying episode individually, maybe of the show.
I don't know of the show. I think it's probably more satisfying in say episodes 2 to like 4.
Maybe.
I think since 5 it's been on a roll, and this maybe
it's definitely picked up from there. Yeah.
And I think maybe this puts it back towards like 2 to 4 range, and that's not bad. It's just it's just not
still
as
pretty good at that point. But
it's just not as maybe satisfying as some of the great episodes we've had in the last few weeks. But no, I'm excited for the finale next week. I'm excited to see what they do. Really hope we get a renewal.
Yeah, and we got we did get a little tease twist at the end from Zod.
Oh yeah, go on.
With Val-Al might somehow still be alive.
Yeah, I
don't know if they're gonna play because obviously his death, as we saw, was he just stepped off and fell. Because
he says something about Val-El, and I thought he meant, he knows about the hologram. He knows about he can go talk to him, kind of, in the fortress. But then he's like, no, but he flat out implies, no, he's not dead.
Yeah, because she says, oh no, he died 14 cycles ago, and he's like, no, he didn't.
Which, obviously he has future knowledge, so that makes sense. Also, character who finds Jaina, we should mention that.
Yes.
Is that her brother? That she left for dead?
That was my immediate thought.
Because we've not seen him before as an adult. We've not seen this guy before. So my assumption is it's her brother.
Yeah, that's what I assumed as well.
Yeah, which is actually what we thought was going to happen with Zod originally, because they'd set that up. We're like, oh, is it the brother? Is it the brother who's out there?
Yeah.
No. We're just getting to that now.
But I like that they're still using that because we expected it. They swerved us, and then now they get to play it again. Probably a more opportune moment.
And honestly, it works for me as well. It doesn't feel cheap because they've established all these tunnels. So all we have to say is he found one of these tunnels, and that's how he survived. And he's been down here for 14.
Long, yeah.
Yeah, well, longer than that. It was 14 years since Val died, not 14.
Yeah, it's 20 something.
Yeah.
Probably.
But no, that's all good stuff. So looking forward to next week's episode and seeing how this wraps up and seeing. I'm expecting some nice, pretty visuals of an entire city be bottled and taken off.
Yeah, because this show has had some pretty good looking visuals in general, but it's been quite held back and refined and how much it actually shows on a week-to-week episode.
Yeah, actually, I really like that they have this plan where Black Zero and the Sagittarii are all going to team up to take on Brainiac, and then immediately Brainiac just takes over their minds and makes them shoot each other.
Yeah, I like the scene of the two people convincing the opposite sides that hey, maybe we should work together. It's for the best.
Yeah. I just thought it was a really good scene. As soon as like the one guy turned, he's like, "I swear it's not me, it's not me," and it's like, "Oh no, they're just all trying to massacre each other." And sure enough, they're just all dead. And Seg's just standing there on his own, like, "Shit."
Yeah, and it's like you know it's happening. It's like there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. So, but no, Krypton still pretty good. But that said, given that this was maybe not as amazing as normal, maybe we'll have a different pick of the week this week.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. We'll see when we get to the end. Well, that does take us on to Arrow, the season finale, season 6, episode 23. It's called Life Sentence. I feel like I'm serving a life sentence with this show.
All I know is I got 3 son of a bitches from 3 different characters. So I was loving this episode.
You did. Here's the thing. So, the one hope and I said this to you right as we were starting to watch this. I said, and I quote myself here, at least this will be the last episode with Diaz, because every other villain for each season have all went out in some capacity. Deathstroke didn't die, but he was shipped off.
Put off the table. Yeah.
And we didn't see him for a long time, right? Last season we had Prometheus died in the finale. Damien Dark did show up again in another show, but he was gone from Arrow in the last episode.
You can say the same about season 1, which is Malcolm Merlyn, but
yeah,
again they dealt with him, and then hey, we're going to play with it.
Exactly. So I'm like, okay, so he's definitely gone, right? For the first time in this entire show's history, the villain is not defeated, and he is still around to do things.
They choose now. They choose this time to be the thing where they break tradition.
They do not defeat him. They take out a lot of his forces. Obviously, Oliver teams up with the FBI and the rest of his team to sort of storm all of his castles, if you will. And that's there's a lot of action scenes that come out of that, which is fine. But my God, Diaz is awful, and he is around for next season.
Yeah.
This has really depressed me, that I'm going to have more of him next year. I thought the one benefit of this finale was going to be that we're going to kill him off, and nope, he's still around. He fights Oliver. He survives the fall into the water.
My one hope is, I know it's new showrunners, and I know it's someone who's been working on the show anyway. Mm-hmm. But maybe she just goes, screw it, I want a fresh start. I don't want to deal with that shit.
Kill him off in the first 5 minutes.
Just don't even address it. Just he never resurfaced.
Oh, I don't know. I think on principle I can't accept that. Because
it leaves it open.
Because he's looking like he wants revenge when we see him at the end in the montage. So. Oh, I know. Because there's the thing, right? So Lance is killed, which we assumed was going to happen because Paul Blackthorne was leaving the show. And sure enough, he does it to save Laurel, which we guessed as well. We guessed that he was going to save her, and that would be the final thing that proves, or not proves, but the final thing that inspires her to not be a villain, right? She's already been kind of teetering, she's already been kind of shifting, but this will be the final thing. So no, he died for me. I'm going to make this count. Yeah. And Sarah even shows up when he's in the hospital because he doesn't die right away. He's sort of living, and they think he's going to be okay. They think he's going to the operation, and then the doctor just comes out and says, "Nope, sorry, he dead." And everyone,
I'm not a fan of this. I feel like it was a wasted appearance because they hyped this up way back when. Oh, she's going to be in the last episode.
Did they?
And then they did. And
just
I was excited for it, and then I was like, she comes in, she gets no interaction with him whatsoever, and then just that's
the part I'd agree is weird. She doesn't even get to speak to him.
I thought they were at least going to do a funeral or a memorial in the aftermath. And have her say something there.
Other than that, may be episode 1 next year. To be honest.
Yeah, but I feel like you could have just brought her in for that next year, and she didn't really need to be here for. I don't think she added anything to this episode.
That's fair. I mean, I wasn't disappointed. I didn't really think it'd be much more than this. I expected her to see him, but other than that, I thought no, she'll be in the hospital when they all find out that.
That's fair, but like I said, because I knew she was coming in, and then I knew we knew he was probably dying. I thought, they're going to have one last moment together. It'd be nice.
If anything, I could have almost seen it being he dies and she comes into one scene, not even says a word, and it's just her like crying and hugging someone, and that's her appearance. Like I was half expecting that.
Yeah, fair enough.
I was half expecting not even a line of dialogue, just the emotion of, oh no, Sarah's here because he's dead.
Yeah.
So on that sense, I'll defend it, just in the sense that no, like it may not add anything, but it makes sense for her to show up because her dad's dying.
It does. I feel like it's weird because they don't really do anything. I feel like it would have been better served to not have this and save that reaction to have her come in for the funeral.
Don't get me wrong, there's obviously much better things they could have done with it, but I don't think there's a problem with just having it like this. Does that make sense? Like, you know, like, I don't think it detracts from anything. I wouldn't complain that she's here.
No, I think part of it is the way they built it up when they announced this, so that she was going to be in the last episode. They were like, oh, it's going to be big, and I was like, okay, that was disappointing.
You always complain about people hyping things up.
Well, then they shouldn't do it.
It never bothers me. I never care. Like I assume they're lying half the time.
You're in the minority on this because most people get excited for things when they tell you these things are happening.
You're excited for something on Arrow. This is on you. This is all on you at this point.
No, I thought, well, hey, Sarah's been fantastic on Legends. Maybe we can bring some of that over and lift Arrow up.
Well, no, because it's not. It's different writers writing her.
I know, but I thought her character has changed so much that maybe we can do this. You know, whenever Arrow has its crossovers, and you know, we actually have the Arrow episode, the Arrow writers writing other characters, they're typically fine. There's usually not really a problem with them. So I thought, well, now we've got a new characterization for Sarah. We can bring that in, and we can have her here, not the neutered Arrow version that we used to have. Apparently not.
Yeah, this is on you for expecting that. I don't know why you had expectations. You had high hopes for this. I don't. Arrow has done nothing to prove that it's going to achieve any of it.
I know.
Well, I'm defending it. I'm just saying, like, I have a lot of problems with this episode. Sarah's appearance is not one of them. It's fine, whatever. You know,
okay.
Other things, like, just, you know, how awful Diaz is my main complaint. And the fact that he's still alive.
He is the worst.
I actually don't have a problem. I hate how they draw it out. Like, everyone doesn't know that Oliver's made this deal, right? With the FBI, but I don't have a problem with where it ends with. I like that it does, because I do actually think that changing up the status quo for next year with him publicly just admitting I am the Green Arrow on TV.
We've been saying this since we've been talking about it for a while, but especially since the courtroom episode.
Yeah, we thought you should have done it there, but honestly, doing it as your season ending is actually fine too, because it means, okay, come back next year because it's going to be different because of this, because we have this now.
Yeah.
And he gives Diggle like a green suit, so Diggle might be the Green Arrow at the start next year again. If he wants to be. It's up to him. We'll see. We know Roy's coming back. He's a regular next year, so maybe he's there to help as well.
Yeah. He can come back now because he's been absolved.
Yeah, it's actually quite funny. When he was on TV, he's like, I'm the Green Arrow. Roy Harper is not the Green Arrow. Tommy Merlin is certainly not the Green Arrow. I just started laughing at that. Of course he's not.
Yeah, no. I was half going to know, he is dead.
Yeah. That's just more to explain, though. How do you explain on TV... And a quick soundbite, because he's getting dragged off by the FBI. Like, oh yeah, there's this guy with this face technology, and he was.
I mean, about as easily as explaining how this guy who's been dead for 5 years showed up at your court case.
I'm just saying, it's a lot to divulge in the 30 seconds that you had to divulge it.
It is.
That's all I'm saying. William is still freaking awful. His scene where he's like, "Dad, what's happening? I don't understand." I hate him so much.
I know. Can we get Ruby to use the minigun on him?
I think... Ruby needs to team up with Whale Dog's kid.
Yeah. She's pretty good. Like, have them team up. Yeah.
And they can be the badass kids that are useful.
Down for that.
They can do things.
You know how we've got Super Sons going on?
Yeah.
I kind of want this... universe's equivalent.
Ruby's the badass with a big minigun, and then Wild Dog's kid. She is
Can't remember
like
her name, can you?
no, she's the brains. Because she's smart. She figured out who they're all superheroes. So she's the brains. She's the one who's like the thinker. She's the not the character, the thinker. You know what I mean? Just the word, the thinker. She's the Batman. She's the planner.
Yeah, exactly.
Strategy. Ruby's the muscle.
Yeah. I love this.
I know. Cancel Arrow and give me... Can't call it Super Daughters, but, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you want to call it, just go with that.
Yeah. At the end of every episode, William can ask one of them out on a date, and they can spit in his face and kick him in the nuts, and he can go off crying. That should be the stinger on every episode.
I don't think I'll ever get bored of that.
I want Ruby to be like, no, William, you're worse than Mon-El. Jeez. Kicking the nuts.
Oh, that'd be great.
This is the thing. And obviously, Dinah has a moment where she could kill Black Siren, but she chooses to, honour her word and save her. And we get like both of them using their scream at one point, and it's like, okay, fine. I wonder what they'll do with this. I wonder if like Black Siren ends up in Legends next year, because do we have two canaries? It's kind of weird.
It is weird, isn't it?
And I feel like Laurel is now our only family member, kind of.
But here's the thing.
Sorry, Sarah's our only family member, kind of, not Laurel.
No, I know what you mean, but here's the thing. The only reason we have her on this show at all is because people were annoyed we didn't have a Laurel, because they shafted Laurel and killed her. I
mean, I would argue she was shafted long before they killed her. But,
I would agree as well, but that is the general perception, right?
Yeah.
So it would feel really weird for me. They finally redeemed it. We've got a Laurel Lance. We've got, we can do this again. To just ship her off to Legends.
It just makes sense. Actually, on the subject of Legends, I did notice in the art they put out for the next seasons, because they put out like just posters for each of the shows. Wally wasn't on the poster. I just want to point that out. So I don't know what they're doing with Wally. Constantine was on it. Amaya was there, or not Amaya, but whoever character she's playing.
The only way I'm okay with this is if something happens in the end of the Flash and Wally has to go and be the Flash full time for at least a while. Properly.
I'll take that. I'll take that. Barry's made stupid, so he can't do it anymore.
I'll take it.
Wally has to be the Flash. Because he is mentioned in the Flash, actually, because Joe was trying to call him, because, obviously his kid's getting born soon.
Nice little joke. It's like, hey, he's on a time machine.
He has no
excuse for not showing up on time.
No, that was a good joke. I'll give it that. So Arrow was whatever. Like, it over dramatizes things as normal.
It was offensively bad though, because Diaz survived.
That was the thing. It's not the worst episode of the season. Like that Diaz focused episode is the worst episode of Arrow. Period.
It might actually be here.
I'm saying it. That is the worst episode of Arrow. Period.
It's pretty bad.
Or at least, maybe not objectively, but it's the worst episode in terms of enjoyment. Period.
That's fair, because like I said, there are episodes that are more of a mess than that.
Yeah, I mean, it was coherent and it functioned well enough, but in terms of actually sitting through it, it was the most boring episode.
Entertainment value.
Yes, but that was the Arrow finale. So Oliver's going off to prison. Everyone knows he's the Green Arrow now. He said it on TV. Which of course means what's going to happen next year is that they're going to need the Green Arrow and they're going to let him out. There's actually, do you know what? This would be the perfect time to bring a villain back. Merlin's dead, but...
Speaking of, we got the tease, right, of what we might be getting. Because Diaz tries to call in the Longbow Hunters.
That's right, yeah, the Longbow Hunters, which I'm not sure exactly what... Because I've read the original Longbow Hunters miniseries, and I don't remember there being other, characters specifically who were, Shadow was one of them.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're using that name to mean more like a sort of
an organization.
Yeah, an organization, or at least like a trio of archer assassins.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be the exact same ones. I think they can kind of do their own thing.
Yeah,
but I feel that's where we're going next season, at least in part.
Yeah, it's a good read actually. Longbow Hunters. If no one's read it.
It's on my to-do list actually.
Yeah, it actually leads into a big long run because Mike Grell, who did that, it worked out so well that here, have a running Green Arrow, and it ran for.
And they've referenced Grell at least 100 times on this show with the amount of characters that they've called Grell, or the amount of street corners.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they call Diggle Diggles is already a reference to an Arrow writer.
It is, yeah.
No, filters. They do that a lot, though. I'm sure there's been lots of little ones here
They
or
do,
there.
but I feel like there's been at least 3 different Judge Grills.
Oh, sure. But even on all the shows, I mean, like, I'm sure there's been things like, Kirby Avenue and, like, things like that.
Infantino Street and Flash.
There you go. That was one of them.
Yeah.
So they've done that a lot, and it's fine. It's cool. It's a nice touch.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
But hey, that is the Arrow finale. I have not much more to add. Obviously, we like Lance, but, he wants to go off into other shows. So
I'll blame him.
Let him fly. The team...
Yeah, rats off a sinking ship.
The team seems to be bonded again, so there'll be one big team again, and have a new base next year, maybe. Because theirs got blowed up.
It did, didn't it? So, I mean, basically, they had some leftover in the set budget. So it's like, hey, let's do something new.
Actually, I wanted to point out one. Anatoly was pretty good this episode.
I told you, Anatoly is consistently the best.
Because Diaz, like, because Oliver's still like messaging him for like hints and tips and the scoops, and Diaz kind of threatens him when he's like, "Hey, you like weren't there for the FBI and the Arrow team like raiding all our bases. That's kind of convenient, isn't it?" He's like, "I was getting food," and he like holds up a cheeseburger, big belly burger. He's like, "I was getting food. Do you want a cheeseburger?"
Yeah.
I can't do a Russian accent. That's clear at this point.
Yeah. I do like Anatoly is consistently funny.
But he just walks out of the police station like 5 minutes later. He's like, "I'm turning myself in." And then he's standing around like making comments in front of everyone. I'm like, you know what?
Can we point out that Oliver's just walking around without a mask on?
He has, yeah.
I know that the one police lady.
Yeah, Watson.
Yeah, the FBI woman. She knows, but I mean, I guess you go fine. He's going to tell everyone anyway. But
yeah, but there's a lot of red shirts. There's a lot of just random FBI agents walking around at this point.
There is, and he's like, guys, it's cool. You can all unmask and put all these randomers.
And maybe he knows he's going to like reveal who he is to everyone, but he's telling Renee to take his mask off.
That's the thing I was just saying. Yeah, it's fine. He goes, I'm going to do it. It's fine. It doesn't matter if these people know 4 hours early. But yeah.
Also, just worth mentioning, the hospital room that Lance was in is the traditional hospital room that Arrow always uses. Because they had Diggle in a different one earlier on in the season, because they had Thea in the main one, so they couldn't use the same one for 2 different rooms. But it's always the same hospital room. I'm just pointing that out.
We have the same doctor half the time.
Yeah, well, she knows he's Green Arrow. Like, she figured that out ages ago. So that's why they always go to her. Oh, thank God she was on shift tonight. I mean, this would have been awkward if it was someone else.
Do you think he just has her on speed dial?
Probably.
Come into work, please.
Anyway, let's go into Young Justice and wrap this up. It's been a longer episode. We had a lot of news at the start. So, Young Justice Season 1, Episode 25. Also a penultimate episode. We have 3 finales next week because this is also hitting a finale for us.
Yeah.
So, this is called Usual Suspects. This is Episode 25, and this kind of brought together a lot of things that have been bubbling over the season.
This is a fantastic episode.
This was like, okay, so there's new members joining the Justice League and on TV, and you've got Plastic Man's there, obviously Red Arrow's there, Icon, who I wasn't super familiar with.
No, me either.
I have to admit, I looked him up though. He's got a pretty cool backstory actually.
Yeah. You got Icon, Plastic Man, Atom, Red Arrow, and there's 5.
There's 5. I can't remember what the other one was.
No, me either.
But
that's pretty bad.
Why is that pretty bad?
I feel like you should just know them all when they make a whole big deal at the start of the episode.
It's not even we spend time with most of them.
I know.
So you got all that, and we have like his sidekick, right? His sidekick's sorry,
Rocket, I think her name is.
Rocket, yeah. Raquel, I think, is her regular name, but Rocket's the our hero name. Who doesn't have powers naturally. She has like a cosmic belt from him that gives her our energy manipulation that she does. So she's there, she's all like, she's got a personality. She's kind of like, chastising them all for complaining about being sidekicks, and she's like, hey, sidekicks are okay, we can do that. But Robin gets a call because he's hacked into the Justice League's communications, and he's like, okay, we've got Cheshire's out there, so we're going to go attack her, and they go and find her, it's a trap. Riddler's there, and I didn't assume that was Mammoth because I didn't recognise him, but I know who Mammoth is. I just kind of like how Blockbuster's there as well later on, and he doesn't look like Blockbuster.
They sometimes have some unusual designs, because I know we actually got some promo art for the next season, and we saw a lineup of the team, and there was a couple that people aren't entirely sure who they are
Yeah.
because the
Also,
designs are a
wasn't the
bit
original
different.
art? Didn't the original art have like Stephanie Brown in it? Spoiler, and that wasn't in this new one.
Maybe the Comic Con bit did, but this wasn't the full thing. You know, this is
Okay.
just this core team. There's still other
All
stuff
right.
going on. This is just the members of this particular team.
All right. Okay.
But
Okay.
it's art.
But so I got this new member. Obviously, Zatanna is still around as well. She's a full member now as well. So they go off to fight and they actually win. You know, Superboy uses his last patch, his shield patch, to have the powers.
Brings down a mountain.
Brings down a mountain. We got a big action scene, but they win and they get this case that's got this genetic stuff in it. And they're like, okay, they bring it back. Batman are just like, they're like, so you hacked into the Justice League communications. You went off and fought these supervillains. You contained this stuff. Good job. It's like, cause
It's that classic gif of him, doing the smile, the good
Yeah.
job smile. I love that gif.
he's because they're all getting ready to be chastised. And like, no, good job, Dick. You did a good job. That's what I trained you for. You're the detective. And then it's like, okay, so there's like, okay, who's the mole? They bring up there's a mole again, and then we cut to like Santa Prisca, and like Lex is there.
We get a little bit of Lex speaking to Superboy, going,
Yeah.
"Hey, come here."
And he goes there to meet Lex, and then like Artemis shows up, and it's like, is she the mole? And she's like with Sportsmaster, and then Miss Martian shows up with Queen Bee. And at least with that one, I kind of assumed it was just this was blackmail because we'd set that up before. And I'm like, wait, are they all moles? Like, there's three of them all run into each other at the same time. But then we get the flashbacks to like, no, Superboy told them everything. Like, and we see Superboy saying, no, Lex is my like half father, and he gave me these patches, and this is what's been happening. And then Artemis like, okay. I guess I'm next, and like like Sportsmaster's my father, Trisha's my sister, and I'm in all this, and
I love that where Dick's like, "Oh yeah, I knew about this. It's cool."
I'm a detective because I assume Batman knew and just mentioned it.
We know Batman knew for sure
Yeah.
because Dick mentioned it around him at some point, and Batman's like, "No, it's her secret to share."
Yeah, so. But I love it because Wally speeds down. He puts he's getting quite close to Artemis. He puts his elbow on the shoulder. He's like, okay, that's cool. Also, anyone next? And then Miss Marston's like, yeah, I've got something. He's like, guys, I swear I was kidding.
That killed me. That line.
So she's like, yeah, okay. So Queen Bee's been blackmailing me because she'd reveal my true form, and she goes into White Martian mode, and she still talks to them. And then we get the little revelation that Superboy actually knew the whole time. Ever since
the mind meld.
The main meld, yeah, and that was like way before like a lot of the stuff happened. That was quite early. He knew like before they started dating, and she's like, oh, so no, this is a plan. And of course, at this point, you're like, okay, they all know they're going, so the rest of the team are going to jump out, and like we're going to get a big fight. And Lex is there, Sportsmaster, Bane's there. I really enjoyed Bane venoming up this episode. It's not even a real word, so I don't know why I'm even struggling with it. But we see like his arm like pop out, all the muscles getting bigger on the eye, like bloodshot.
It's Popeye, basically.
Yeah. It's good though. It's good.
Yeah.
I was digging it. And they have a big fight, and they actually they win. I was surprised because I was like, we've got one episode left. I assumed this was going to end in a cliffhanger, which it does, but I thought they were going to get beat, and that would be the cliffhanger.
Right, but it's not what you'd expect. No, it's basically they kind of win. Lex gets away because they're like, just let him go.
Yeah. But no, they win. They capture various people. Like Artemis is like, hey, Wally, there's a Sportsmaster's mask for another trophy.
A souvenir.
Yeah. So again, it feels like they're bonding a little bit, which is nice.
Cheshire has some really good development with Artemis here. You know, she saves her in the earlier fights.
That's right. Yeah.
We're still says, I don't want to kill you. I just want to win.
Yeah.
And here she kind of betrays her father.
Yeah. So setting her up as a villain, but not without some moral lines.
She's got her own agenda rather than just following what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, so it's good stuff, and but then the big final cliffhanger is that we're on the Watchtower, and Batman's analysing this stuff that was in the briefcase, and Red Arrow comes in and he's making small talk, and he puts one of these things on Batman's back, and then that seems to control Batman. He's now been mind controlled because of this thing, and it goes into the main room, and like all the Justice League are all standing like statues, and then out walks Vandal Savage through the portal. And then Roy seems to wake up. He's like, wait a minute, I'm the mole? Which is really funny because he was the one who was accusing everyone of being the mole.
Yeah.
But he was being controlled. So Vandal Savage has got his plan in motion. So the finale seems to be, it's going to be the Teen Titans are going to have to fight the Justice League, which is just neat. Sure.
Yeah, it's
That's
pretty
the finale.
great.
and then hopefully save the day and beat Vandal Savage, and that should be fun. So, no, I like this. I like that it brought together a lot of threads that we've... I mean, if I have any complaints about the season before we watch the finale, it's that maybe some of these threads have been going on far too... Because there's 26 episodes, like, some of these, like, oh, this person might be this mole thread...
It's going on a bit too long.
It's been like 18 episodes of maybe Artemis is a villain.
I think the one upside it has is it doesn't constantly come back to it every episode and remind us. It goes off and does other things.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I don't necessarily feel it like a complete. I'm not feeling it as I'm watching it. But if I step outside of it and observe it and like sort of analyze it, I'm like, oh wait a minute, it's been 18 episodes of this, and it's been 12 episodes of that. And
it's true. I think it's because, like I say, if they were reminding you every episode, it's like, hey, one of them's a mole.
It was kind of how the first 10 episodes almost all ended the exact same way with, oh, this person's part of the light.
Yeah. And then we did step away from that, and we haven't had that in a while, because, okay, that's done now.
Yeah, that's evolved. It's gotten better as it's went, pretty much. So, no, I'm excited for the finale and excited to see where it goes, and all the new characters that I'm expecting in Season 2.
I'm really looking forward to Season 2 is my favourite. Like, Season 1's good. Season 2 is where it really gets great.
That is interesting, but that's good. That just means it keeps getting better. So hopefully that
it really ups everything, and I'm looking forward to revisiting it.
But hey, that is the Young Justice episode 25. So we will be back with the finale next week, and then obviously once the other shows start finishing, which happen next week's the finales of a couple of them, we'll start doubling up on Young Justice and then adding in the other retro shows as we go.
Because we're going to be done before October.
Yeah, because they've got too many CW shows at the same time. So that's the plan. But that brings an end to the show. All that's left to do is pick our favourite episode of the week. A bit more challenging this week, I think, because Krypton wasn't the outright standout that it normally is.
It wasn't.
So what are you thinking?
I think I'll throw a curveball and give it to Flash for having a legitimately good episode for the first time. I think it was the most consistent episode out of them.
Yeah, okay, I can.
And I think it's it's stuff like the hallway scene at the start.
That scene was standout. Like, I was actually really worried after that scene. I thought, oh, that was too good. The rest of the episode's going to suck now because
right. But I think the fact that the rest of it mostly lived up is pretty good. Like I said, I had the one real complaint with Iris, but it's a pretty small complaint. Harry was hilarious, and
Harry was great.
We had the problem solving back. We had the inventive stuff with the flash time.
Yeah, and I did like, even if you had a problem with some Irish stuff, I liked that her and Wells having their own thing felt nice and separate, and it felt like they were doing their own thing, and that worked for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think if it wasn't for the Mon-El stuff, I'd probably pick Supergirl, but I think that's just enough of the episode to make me go with Flash.
Yeah.
So I think I'll say Flash overall. It's a lot closer this week, though. I feel like all three of them are a lot closer.
Yeah, like, because Flash and Supergirl are both better than they've been in the last few weeks. Supergirl slightly better, Flash significantly better.
Because Supergirl wasn't as bad, so...
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, smaller increment.
And then Krypton had a slightly weaker episode, so it kind of narrows down a bit.
So it's very similar across the board, except, of course, Arrow, which, screw you.
No, it was consistent in its placement, though.
For not killing Diaz, damn it.
Yeah. Bastards.
Anyway, that is all the shows. So, by all means, let us know what you thought of the episodes this week. In the comments, like and subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. If you want to get us for DC things specifically, at DC Comics Podcast is a good place to get us there. Check out patreon.com/mailfuzztv. There's some bonuses and stuff. A lot of comic related stuff is on there as extras, but there's also other various things and bits and pieces. But definitely worth having a look. And of course, you can find links to all the other shows we do there, all the other audio feeds we have there, and all that stuff. So it's worth checking out. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching superhero TV shows, guys. And always remember that sometimes we screw things up for the better.